whose son is gonna treat me right for the rest of 2017. You know what I'm saying? We got 2 months left. $200 dates only. I will be accepting applications. I had to see your bank statement, your credit card information before we can proceed.
Erima, what are you doing on that YouTube?
Hey, what's good, beauties, and welcome back to my channel. So for today, I'm going to be doing a suggested and requested video tutorial. I asked you guys on Snapchat, what do y'all want to see from me? Because, you know, as I was editing my last video, which by the way, y'all should go check out because it's bomb.com, I had a come to Jesus moment and I talked to myself and I said, Tina, you need to start doing more videos that's for the people, okay? I know, even though I love doing my makeup tutorials, I want to do makeup tutorials that's going to help y'all out, because if I do my wing liner, I want y'all to know how to execute a wing liner just as perfectly as I can. If I'm contouring, highlighting, I want y'all to know how to do that just as well as me. Yeah, that's basically what this video tutorial is for. This one, along with many others, is going to be pretty much makeup 101. It's going to be makeup boot camp, okay? I want y'all to get y'all makeup game together. I want y'all to be on point with me and just learn all the different tips. I had a lot of people suggest for me to do contour and highlighting, which we're doing today, wing liner, which we're definitely going to do, smile lines. So if y'all got some PEMDAS going on in y'all face, y'all got parentheses going on, all right, we're gonna get that together, okay? So yeah, this is just basically what this video is for. Hope you guys get a lot out of this one and many other videos that I'll be posting in the near future, and we'll just jump straight into the tutorial. All right, bye. First off, what you want to do is make sure you have a moisturizer. I love using my Nivea cream moisturizer because it just gets my face smooth and even. Next thing that you want to do to start off with this, you want to make sure you have a primer. Every girl should have a primer. Every girl should have a primer. You should have an eyeshadow primer. You should have a facial primer. You should have a primer. Do not do any makeup. Don't paint or dazzle anything on your face until you have primer. You want to make sure you have a primer as a base. This is just to keep your makeup intact, keep it together. If you have oily skin, you want to make sure that you do have a primer. I have the Becca matte primer. I love this primer so much. I'm definitely always going to buy it just because it leaves my face leaving super matte, and I feel like it literally sucks in every oil on my skin. So if you have skin that feels like you just squeezed puff puff at a party or wedding or waykeeping on a Saturday night at Garland Convention Center, this is for you, okay? You want this. You want to have this in your makeup routine, okay? Don't say I didn't tell you, okay? Now, if you have dry skin, I would definitely suggest getting a primer that has moisturizer in it or something that's already hydrating, because you really don't want to put yourself in a predicament of getting a matte primer and you already have a dry face. All right, so next you do want to make sure you have a foundation. Now, again, like I'm saying for almost every product, if you have oily skin, make sure you have a foundation that's matte, that says it's matte, that promises matte, that has a matte finish to it. Now, if you're someone who has dry skin, I would definitely suggest getting a foundation that says dewy. Maybelline Color Fit Me has both dewy and matte, so this is very good for you to get, especially since it's affordable. Just going to do that. I feel like this is definitely time to tuck the bundles back, okay? Gonna tuck the bundles back because I don't. So I have my foundation applied and I'm just going to go in my beauty blender, blend everything out. Now, again, like I mentioned before in my previous video, which y'all should definitely go watch because it is bomb.com, I love using my beauty blender to apply my foundation just because it gives me a nice airbrush finish to my look.
Before you came round, my heart would never be much faster.
So also with your foundation, you want to make sure you try and drag down whatever residue you have left so you can get a nice blend in between your neck and your face, because you just don't want to have a different color.
For a small disaster.
Now for the fun part, I'm going to go in with my LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this is in the color Toffee. I've used this since day one, A1. This is like my ace boom coon literally when it comes to makeup, because it has not left my side since I've started purchasing it. What we're going to do is I'm going to make this the don'ts and this is going to be the do's. So whatever I do on this side, that's what y'all should do as well. So now when you're first starting off, when it comes to highlighting, what you want to make sure you do is squeeze out a little bit of the concealer, and whatever you have on this concealer, you want to apply on your face. You can just create a triangle. Work your way here, then create that, and then just fill it in as you go. You see how I didn't go like past my eyebrow or anything? Like, we just have it centered right here, so you just see literally a triangle. Now what you don't want to do is squeezing your concealer as you're applying. It's a big don't. Another don't that you want to avoid whenever applying concealer is dragging it all the way up here. That's a don't. Also, applying it to where it's closer to your smile line, that's a don't as well, especially if you're oily. That makes you more prone for more oiliness throughout the day, and it also makes your smile lines appear quicker throughout the day. I'm going to apply some to my forehead, and I'm not going to apply too much, and then I'm going to drag that concealer down the middle. And if you want to be extra, because I typically don't do it on my chin a lot, but you can go ahead and add some to your chin as well. What you don't want to do is, as soon as you have applied that concealer, going in and trying to blend the concealer as soon as you have applied it. That's a big don't. And the reason why is because you're making yourself more available to your makeup smearing all over the place. So if your concealer is being blended out as soon as you've applied the concealer, you're going to get more smudging, more moving around on the cheek, and you see how it's just spreading everywhere instead of staying in one place. We don't want that. Now, what you do want to do is whenever you're blending out your concealer, it's good that you leave it on for a little bit. So you see how we've already worked on this section of our face on the don't side. On the do side, we've left it alone for so long that it's given the concealer time to mat up and dry up a little bit, which is good because you don't want to get all that smearing and extra moving around the concealer like I had mentioned earlier. And you also will avoid your concealer going all the way towards Spain. We want flights to Spain, we just don't want them on our face, all right? Don't go nothing past that brow, don't get towards the baby hair. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just buff this out. Now, something that I want to mention when it comes to blending out the forehead, you do not want to drag this all the way up. You want to stay in this area right here, okay? Enough to where it looks like if light was hitting your face, that's exactly where it would hit it. And then I'm gonna go to the chin, buff that out a little bit, and then I'll be working down the middle of my nose. Another do that I did forget to mention is whenever you're blending out your concealer, you want to make sure you bring it in as close as possible to your nose, just so it looks blended out. You know, if you keep stopping it here, it may look a little unrealistic as far as where your light placement is. So just blending it into the nose really helps. The next thing that you want to have is a powder to set over your highlight. Now, I use my Nye powder in the color Topaz. This is actually the Laura Mercier translucent powder container. I just put my Nye Topaz powder in here because I hate the way it comes out the other one, but anyways, that don't really matter. Just know you're supposed to have a powder to set over your highlight. What you do want to do is you want to get your beauty blender and tap it in there. You just want to get a small portion of it. You don't want to pick up a lot, and all you're going to do is just literally press that into the skin. I want to look snatch times 10. We let it bake, all right? What you don't want to do is grab a big old portion of this and letting it bake. So just, oh Lord, all over my shirt now. But grabbing a big portion of this and letting it just bake on your face, that's a don't for me. And it's not honestly the worst thing to do if you let it sit on your face, to be honest, because there will be days where you're just feeling like, let me just bake, you know, because I have days like that. Knock this off my shirt. Letting it sit on your face for too long, especially if you're not working with a powder of this color, it can make you look super cakey, especially if you're not going for a cakey look. It can make you look ashy as well. Same thing goes for here as well. I just press it into my skin. You don't want to drag it up too far high. And then I'll also place this on the bridge of my nose. Now I'm also going to apply this to my chin as well. Honestly, when it comes to both the chin and the forehead, I don't really dip back into my powder for me to highlight. I just use whatever is left on here to go over the highlighted areas. The next what you want to do is go in with a brush. I like using my Real Techniques brush just because it really buffs everything out. So to contour, I personally don't like contouring with creams, and I actually don't have a specific like powder shade that I use for me to contour with. I contour with my bronzer. With bronzers, you get a more warm look instead of like a brown or a mist brown or a brown that has a hint of gray to it that you're trying to use to contour with. I feel like that's perfect for me. But if you were wanting to know how to do that, powders or a cream, I'll do it on this side. So what I do first, okay, that's childish. That's childish. Even that's so childish. What I start to do first is I spray this with a little bit of my NYX matte finishing spray. So what I like to do is suck in my cheeks first.
Walk with our feet on the ground, and we will talk with our head in the clouds, and we will walk with our feet on the ground, and we will talk with our head.
Add some highlight to our forehead. You want to make sure you're really trying to close it in and give it some shape and dimension right there. So now I'm going to go in with my Ruby Kisses 3D face creator, and this is in the level 16, and I'm going to use this darkest shade right here. What you don't want to do is, first of all, you don't want to add a random line to your face because you saw your favorite YouTube guru do it and you think it's gonna look good on you if you do it too. You don't want to do that. And you also don't want to create too thick of a line because now you really don't know where the placement of your contour is supposed to go. You're not trying to drag it all the way here. You're not trying to have your contour lick the side of your lip. You're not trying to do that. So that's a major don't do that. Applying it to the temples and their forehead, right? You don't want to add too much of this because then you're just gonna have big random black spots on your face and it's gonna look like someone got cigarettes and just started pressing it onto your face. You don't want that. So you're gonna get your beauty blender and just buff all of this out. Going forward, that's a done as well. So, and you see with this, I kind of had to drag it down some. Don't do that, okay? You really want to go by that. Now I will most definitely say we did not take a lot of L's on this side because we did cover up that portion. That contour shade that we used, it covered it up, so now it looks a little less toned down. It doesn't look really crazy and dramatic. What you want to do is you're gonna go back in and chisel underneath, and this is just to really help sculpt out that contour from before. So you're gonna suck in your cheeks.
Never gonna show.
If you're just applying this on top of that contour, you're already finished. Like, the highlight contour game is ruined, okay? So you just want to make sure whenever you're applying it that you get it underneath that contour line precisely. But since we've already went over it, our contour will not show up as defined as before, like on this side. I'm just going to buff all of this out, and you want to make sure you're dragging it down first before you do it. And then same to this side as well. And another don't is swirling this around and trying to remove the excess is messing up the contour as well because you're pretty much blending in the makeup with each other. So now the contour is really gone. There was no point in you contouring or highlighting compared to this side where we have a little definition. You can see where I contoured and where I highlighted. Now if you're someone who is wanting to work with powders, I'm gonna go in with my Makeup Shayla palette, and what you can do is go back over that bronzer actually and just define it a little bit more, even though we've already done it. So if you're wondering like, oh, can I go back over what I've already done? Yes, you definitely can. So just applying just a little bit of it, not too much. For our last step in this video, all I'm gonna do is just get my pressed powder, and this is from Black Radiance, and I'm going to get my brush and just literally set my whole face with this so that way we can cover up any harsh lines, especially on this side. Okay, this was a hot mess.
Feet on the ground, and we will talk with our head in the clouds, and we will walk with our feet on the ground, and we will.
Guys, well, that is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys took a lot of tips out of this. If you guys do want to see anything else from me next, make sure you contact me, hit me up, and let me know what you would like to see, and hopefully I can fulfill your very needs. Hopefully I can cater to you. Maybe I can do all that and more. Brush your hair and help put your do-rag on. No, I'm playing, y'all, but I will for real see y'all in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Before you came around, I was ready to